welcome to my channel. Welcome to this week's Whip and Chat. This one may be a little bit broken. I'm late recording. Yesterday was crazy. I shouldn't have left it till yesterday, to be honest. And yes, I have an appointment this morning that I may need to leave for. So grab your tea or your coffee or your alcohol. Just gonna get kind of cracking on this and chatting. Alright, yeah, sorry. Sleep has been a bit of a dim and distant past. Well, no, I'm sleeping. I'm just very broken, and when it's the broken bit, I'm lying there in pain trying to get into a neutral position, and it can take some time, so I'm probably not sleeping up to my best either. Anyway, look, some massive news, and I am so appreciative. You have no idea. So appreciative. I hit the 1000k. I am now monetized, which hopefully means that I can also bring some other things to the channel. Maybe the joining membership. I am definitely considering the coffee membership. Coffee subscription works the same way, I suppose, as a Patreon, as the same way as the membership on YouTube. I have no idea what the cuts are from any of those other agencies. Coffee, I don't think, has any cuts. I think what the money given is given straight to me. And for people who have given to me by the coffee fund, which is that little coffee cup in my logo now, for anyone who has bought me a coffee from that, I thank you. I really do appreciate it. I have to now get my head around my accounts. God, because I'm supposed to be declaring these as tax income, even though there's a threshold I think I can have as a hobby and all of that kind of jazz. So yeah, I've just made toast for Sophie, but she hasn't come and sat down and eaten it. Anyway, I'm gonna start diamond painting. So much to fill you in on. So yeah, the big thing was the 1000k. I'm just opening up my photos of the trip that we did on the weekend. So again, like last week, I can browse and chat with you kind of at the same time. So let me just get down to the bottom of those and be ready to go. I can't even remember what we did last week, to be honest. It doesn't get like that. I'm sorry, I'm frazzled and I need to just relax. Last night was a bit of a drama. I'm struggling as a step-parent to bite my tongue when I see disregards. And I'm going to say this front up. I said at the start of dinner last night, you're here to eat your meal. Your meal is late. I want your meal finished by the time the kitty bedtime alarm goes off in 45 minutes or so. And I don't want you to eat your meal one piece at a time. It was salad that had bits of corn, bits of lettuce kind of thing. What does she do? I think the next forkful or the next two forkfuls later, she was eating them one by one again. And I'm kind of going, fuck me. Anyway, yeah, that ended up going tits up. And then, and I had also said, and I want you to finish everything on your plate, because I knew she's going to be a turd. Yeah. And the reason why it's probably such a big deal is because when she used to go to her other house, the mum's house, she would lose weight. She's kind of keeping the weight on these days. Not that we're watching the scales, but she was losing weight each week and putting it on because we were having to force feed her effectively, which doesn't help. Yeah, so we've had the food battles with her, and now she's using it as a controlling device or some other such bullshit. But she'll get sucked into the TV. But the rest of us would just be sitting there for an hour with nothing to do if we were to do it on her time. Anyway, that's the major brief. So I'm a bit jack of all that kind of thing, and she doesn't understand. And yeah, anyway, trying to learn to back off. But the bad manners of, you know, it was the same on one of the walks that we did. Don't pick up a stick. She picked up a stick. As soon as my back was turned, picked up a stick. You know, and having the stick maybe wasn't so much of an issue, but being told don't, and then doing it was, in my eyes. Yeah. Okay, can we get away from the child? So if you sit down, please, and eat. Oh God, it's gonna be one of those breakfasts with her. So yeah, for those who are on my Instagram and Facebook, my photo, my PMS. Yeah, that too. No, not that. My FMS, my Fat Mum Slim photo a day challenge yesterday was, what are you doing today? And I took a picture of me in the car, and in the background, it was kind of like a selfie photo. In the background was Sophie conked out, asleep because she had been to the doctor. And this goes back to the walk on the weekend. So we did the walk on the weekend. We went to a place called Hardings Falls, which is up the same region as Metis Falls and Lost Falls. But this time we went, instead of going across the middle of Tassie, we actually went up a little bit more and then across and then come down into the fall. And my back was, you know, not really happy, but I was able to knit on the way up, which is a good distraction as well. So that was good. Oh God. Speaking of the knitting, this is going to jump. Okay, I'm going to be all over the shop, right? I'll try and keep basically on target. I brought my knitting up, and the lace work was the instruction. I can't find. I'm sure there are. I haven't looked hard enough because actually I do want to see how it should knit, but I'm too jaded to really look, I suppose. And it's kind of like, yeah, you know when you get to the point where you want to research something, but you're so sick of having the fucking phone in your hand all the time? Yeah, I'm at that point. I'm at that point where I'm jack of Facebook and the time wasting it's doing. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm just scroll and not doing the knitting that I want to do, not doing the stitching that I actually want to do, but I'm too tired to concentrate enough. But I know when I pick it up I'll love it. I'm all kinds of pulled, I think, by the want to and the distractions. Oh, Sophie's saying hi, but she's very, very snotty. Can I get Flopsy to say hi instead? No. Okay, sit down, eat your toast. They're mine. Sophie, give them back to me, please. She's being a brat. She's got snot all over her face. This is probably her first real cold. It's lasted more than like 6 hours. And she's 2.5. My first boy, bless him, he had the green snots running down his face most of his first 2 years. He was such a sick kid, getting all the bugs and germs. I know you like her, and she's making all kinds of funny noises now, which is all kinds of cute, but yeah. She's another one. She'll lick the topping off the toast and not necessarily eat the toast, so we have to kind of each toast. I'm tired. I may have mentioned to some people as well, I couldn't remember my iPhone password. Now I have to plug it into a computer, and of course I don't have a Windows computer, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get my iPhone 6 Plus back. Yeah. I don't know what the hell it was set at. A 6-digit number that, yeah. Anyway. So it's now a brick. It's okay, the screen's been cracked. I haven't used it for years. It doesn't really matter if I do a factory restore. It's just frustrating that I couldn't remember the passcode. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so we went to Hardings Falls, having seen a couple of photos from, you know, different angles, people saying, oh yeah, it's worth a walk down to the bottom, blah blah, that kind of thing. And thought, yeah, I've taken all my drills out as usual and thought, no, I don't see that one in here. Now I've just seen it. So walked to the falls. It was either a 20-minute return or a 60-minute return if you go by the riverbank or something like that. So we tried to do what we thought was the quick walk, because as soon as I got out of the car, my leg is twinging, and I'm kind of thinking, oh, for God's sake, I'm really getting over this. Yeah. Hubby goes to the festiest long drop compostable toilet, and he said, don't go there, don't go there. And so I avoided that. So we start the walk, and there's these 5 little kind of wooden flats over a little dip in the track. Very odd. It's very, very, very dry. Like, this is 2-3 weeks after the previous walk. Much, much drier this time round. So this must be kind of for little floody bits to allow some of the drainage to go through. But it doesn't look like any water would pass under. Anyway, there's these 5 little bridges. And didn't really pay much heed to what was on the track on the way out. But certainly was on the way back, and you'll see photos of that. So we get to the top of a rocky outcrop where the vista opens up, and it was just like, oh my God. Oh no, wait, let me take you back a bit. Walking down the track, there are these banksia nuts. Now, you've heard me read, or you might have heard me read to Sophie a couple of the Cuddle Pot and Snuggle Pie stories. They are, oh God, brain fart now. They're the Gumnut Baby stories, and I can't think of the author's name now. There were these banksia nuts. Now, in her story, she, I think, describes one of them, or one of them is drawn as the banksia head, which is kind of furry, as you'll see in a picture. I hopefully got it well enough. But it's furry, like this shaggy old man, you know, hippie up the mountains kind of thing. The unkempt, straggly hair kind of feature, and then the rest of his body. Well, I'm walking down and I'm seeing these banksia nuts. Now, there's a brilliant picture of a banksia nut that has burst fully open. Banksias, I think, are one of those nuts that actually open in fire. It's a fire-generated plant for propagation, and this one has opened fully, regardless. And it's like these little offset beaks. So one is open here, and then the other one is offset here. And you can see that really, really closely in the image that I took. And then there was these little yellow flowers, and then there was another bush that had yellow flowers and long green leaves that I thought, this looks like the plant that I used to see in Ireland. I thought it was Ireland, it may not be, that had little pom-pom fruit or flowers on it after a while. It wasn't. I'm not sure what it was, where I've seen it before, but it looked familiar. So a couple of more of these banksia bushes down, there's this one bush that is full of furry little men. And I hope you can make these out. The branches are, you know, all over the place. And then there's these little gnome-like figures of these furry little men all over the branches in these odd places, like they're in the middle of nothing because the leaves have burnt off or something. And these are scattered through the tree. It's quite incredible. There's also one I took from below a tree, and you can see all of these black kind of lumps. That's the banksia nuts throughout the branches as well. But but really, really unusual features. So moving on, and the Banksia starts off as these furry men, but when it's burned, all the fur burns off effectively, and then you can see the base of a tree that's been burned. You can see the spot fire kind of thing, and there's in the bottom right of that picture, from the tree trunk down to the edge of the photo, that's a piece of bark. It's, you know, up to 1 inch thick, and it's peeled off, so it's burnt, and some of it, the burning has burnt through that thick bark to singe the tree trunk the way it's being singed, if that makes some sense. This is a bizarre country when it comes to bushfires and vegetation. So you've got some bracken fronds. There was like proper bracken. Bracken is an imported weed from the slave ships or prison ships or whatever you want to call them that came over from England. Probably just could have been used for bedding or something. Either way, I thought the fronds were really pretty. They were still furled up, but bracken is a nasty plant in that it doesn't snap. If you pull on it, it will actually rip through your hands like a rope. It's a kind of funky plant like that, and that's from my pre-scouting days. There's that yellow plant that I was telling you about as I'm scrolling up the page. Yeah, I must put it through plant seed. If you're ever wondering what a plant is, plant seed, I think, or plant snap. You take a picture and you put it through the app, and it will give you a suggestion of what it might be. Sometimes it's right, and sometimes it's further down in some of the suggestions. Then there was some lichen. I was so bummed with this picture that it wasn't as crisp as it was. I think it's because I was lagging behind now.
Bye,
yeah, bye. Then there was this funky wood, and this again ended up as an Instagram because a Fat Mum Slim photo a day thing, because the photo was for waves, and husband has been taking these pictures to be backing pictures for his phone. I have a picture of Sophie. He's got a picture now of a rock, granite kind of thing. Yeah, this one particular picture, it looked like the Scream, he said, and then I put that into the Instagram post. So yeah, some of you may have already seen that. Then there was a lump of fungi. I didn't poke it because I think if you poke those brown things, they actually puff out the black fungi spores. Here's the Banksia trees with the knobbles of Banksia men, and then there's this tree that, good God, it was just straight up. Couldn't believe how straight this way. This is a picture of the path. This is the trail. Hubby actually has other photos of the trail. They may be further up because we share our Google photos. But it's a pretty nondescript path. There wasn't much to it. So yeah, we came down this undergrowth stretch to this waterhole. Now the waterhole, you're kind of thinking, oh, it's just a waterhole. And then you can hear the water flowing out of the waterhole. And when you turn your head to the right, because from that top rocky outcrop, you then go down to the river base. You could have gone another way to the right, but hubby's going, you are not going down the rock faces on your own. No way, no how. So I didn't go rock scrambling, which is fine. I did go rock scrambling around here though. So we get to the waterhole and we're kind of thinking, are we stuck on this side of the river? There wasn't a high flow, which was the best for us because it meant that we could cross over a little stepping area. and swing Sophie across, and we could get to the other side of the bank where all of the scrambling was pretty much done then. So crossed over, and there was so there's the water hole, and to the right of that is just rock pools. The rock pools were full of tadpoles, and then the waterfall fell over off to the right in 2 separate sections. So there was a buttload of pictures. One of the pictures shows in one of the rock pools. It's actually a clear pool of water, but it looks like it's almost fossilized and the sand has just settled into those little fossil curls. It was really, really weird. Not sure what the rock is up in this area of Tasmania. It looks like volcanic of some kind, because it's been superheated and has got these funky ribbons through it. Sorry, I'm also looking for the last of this symbol and I'm not seeing anymore. So it's got these, it looks like cake layers, icing layers, and it's just been smooshed, and they've all kind of gone out of alignment and stuff. It's quite funky. Anyway, then the falls. So I'm sitting at one section. Marcus goes around and he's standing at another section. If we can include those pictures, I will. So he waves at me and then waves his finger at me going, "Don't you dare cross," because he can see that I want to cross. And then we come back together and he goes, "There's actually a better crossing down the other side." So what I wanted to do was get off the rock and rock pool top, cross one of the waterfalls to another rock outcrop and see what was there. See if I could actually get a shot down the waterfall. So this is the direction that he points me in. So I go down to this section. I'm kind of thinking, he thinks this one was better? Holy cow. There's the lichen everywhere. That you can see in these halo kind of arrangements, like rosebud patterns. Again, strange. I'm with the waterfall videos I'm building up now. I will actually make a playlist or a single video of multiple waterfalls, so you've got the repetitive roar and you can just play it as a continuous loop. So yeah, there's the waterfalls, and when I get out to the second outcrop, I see these pools of water below me. There's 3 or 4 pools below me of still green water. I've got a waterfall dropping on my left, which is probably 50 meters, if that, 25 to 50 meters deep of a drop. And the other side I can't quite see, and all I can see is black rock where the water is constantly spraying it. So you get that 2 good dichotomies. But when I cross over the waterfall coming down to the second outcrop, so between the 2 rocky outcrops, I get some shots of the waterfall coming down. It's just beautiful. And it's only tiny. Like, it's, you know, it's 1 foot wide, and it's just trundling down rock after rock after rock, and it's just making this beautiful noise. It was really, really pretty. And when I was sitting out on that second outcrop, I've got a waterfall on my left, I've got a waterfall on my right, I've got this valley down below me, and I just paused and went, oh my god, this is so beautiful. Unfortunately, I didn't have hubby with me because he was keeping an eye on the kids. So but when I stood up and turned around to him, I said, "This state is so fucking awesome." And he he agrees with me. He's Tasmanian, 6th, 7th generation free free people coming in. And we are really, really spoilt, and it is just stunning. So I might put in some of those short videos in between. I tried getting, you know, like 10 seconds, 30 seconds. 10 seconds for the Instagrams and 30 seconds a minute for media, and then some are upright and some are sideways. So yeah, I got an 11-second video of the drop that I'm talking about now. The left waterfall, so to speak. Took a bad selfie because I couldn't really see the camera. What I wanted to do was get me in the foreground and the pools behind me. It didn't quite get that effect, but you know, who wants to see my face anyway? Did get a gorgeous shot of those pools. Got a gorgeous shot of some lichen that was on the rocks. And then there's the black pool. Oh yeah, there's some photos with me over in the distance, just sitting on the rock, just looking. The rock was really dry. It was really grippy. You could see I wasn't taking chances either. There's one shot there that I may have in, is the shadow of my arms with my arms fully extended to take the shot, and I'm clicking the button on the side to click the photo. So I wasn't taking chances. I wasn't being stupid or anything. You know. And then there's the falls to the right, which are much more spread out at the top, and then they concentrate, I think, as they go down. And then there's some more of the fossily bits in the pools, and it's just kind of scattered. There's some fluffy plant leaves. The new leaves are fuzzy. And I won't insert photos of the precocious preteen, but I will include a photo of a very young echidna. This echidna was, what is that, under 30 centimeters, so it would have been 16, 18 centimeters. A young echidna. This is not a full-grown echidna. And you can see on it, you can see the texture of the fluff, you can see the texture of the spines. I could touch this thing. We were so close to it. It was up on the bank. Hubby turns around because he was walking ahead of us on this path here, and he just heard this rustling, turned around and went shh, and told us that the echidna was there. So I'm standing there waiting to see if the echidna is going to pop its head out and start moving off again, because they've got this funky little roll when they do that. Sorry, I found a drill I missed. And the cutest of noses. So let me, I'll see if I can try and explain this creature to you. They really are like fantastic beasts and where to find them kind of thing. Well, yeah. The niffler is more like a platypus, but anyway. In this picture, okay, you've got the left bump, let's call it, in the lower left corner. That's its tail. And then from the diagonal, you see kind of like a chicken breast, like as a roast chicken. You've got a kind of ridge going through the diagonal of the photo, left to right, bottom left to top right. And then you've got, you know, the two sides of the echidna. So the head is buried under that piece of wood up in the top right corner, for instance. And it's a pointy beak. It's long so that it can stick its beak into the soil for the ants, or into the ants' nests to suck up the ants. It's kind of like an anteater in that kind of function. They lay eggs. Yes, weird beasties, and spiky. But like I say, the spikes don't come out. They're not like the porcupine. They don't release or anything else. Although dogs do get spiked by echidnas. Guinness, one of my dogs, he was a border collie thingamajig. He used to go off his nut with echidnas, absolutely troppo, so I'd know where he was and go down and try and drag him away. Yeah, he was a clown. He'd just bark at them constantly. Then we got some more lichen. We've got some baby wattle leaves. And look at this. Little cubes. We've told you about the little cubes before and what kind of animal makes them. That is wombat poo. I hope you're educated now. Yeah. We saw wombat poop. All of it was dry, but as I say, everything was dry in this region. Oh God, I've gone and seen another hourglass. It's going to be the bane of my diamond painting today. There we go. So yeah, we got to see 2 wombats on our trip to the cave off the side of the road. One was a small one on the side of the road just eating. The other one, like, literally had stuck its head out just as we were passing and turned and hightailed it back into the undergrowth. And that was it. Didn't see any more. But wombat poo. And yeah, very, very dry. There was wombat scat all along this other walk. So we returned on a separate path. All along this other walk, there was wombat scat at a couple of places. And yeah, it must have been a popular trail for the wombats. But didn't actually get to see any wombats. Very sad. They're great big boulders. I can't remember what... No. We don't have there's a furry-nosed wombat. There's a few different species. We have one species here in Tasmania.
I thought there were just 2 different species, mainland and Tasmania.
No, we have a unique species down here though. But there are, I think, 4 species in total of wombats.
Well, that's the way they have different habit here.
Yeah, they're completely different behaviour in these ones.
In that they're not
They're not fully nocturnal. This is why we saw them at dusk on the drive the other day. So it was all kinds of cool and special and, you know, everything else. You see, I'm not concentrating now. I'm going to put that away and still have the drills out. A bit derpy. So yeah, that was the walk, and then we also showed the kid her dad's waterhole. She acted like a bit of a spanner about getting into the water and actually swimming with the water flowing for a little bit, but then she got in and she did it, and she was cackling like a hyena with her delight at doing it with her doggy paddle. And then we went for fish and chips at a place called The Gulch. Yeah. The Gulch is in a town called Bicheno, which is a shack town. That's actually not all shacks, but it's a holiday town. Up in Bicheno where the blowhole is, where we had gone through as well a couple of weeks before, when we actually located the waterhole for hubby. But the Gulch is awesome name. So you've got the mainland, you know, that you're standing on, and then across a little waterway is a rock, a great big rock island. There's a couple of little rock islands on this little stretch of coast that you could, it looks like you could probably swim to it. Anyway, I think the Gulch is pretty deep because they actually have jetties and boat mooring areas and that kind of thing here, so it's too fast moving, but there is a little island that you can go to from the beach further around. But we went into the fish and chip shop, which I kind of had avoided the previous week that we were up there, because it was like, it didn't really look all that crash. It looked like a fishmonger's, which it is. And we went in and we looked at the menu, and the menu said something like fish bites, and the menu didn't have any flathead, and the menu didn't have any trevally, and I'm going, what the? Anyway, this old dude comes out with about 3 teeth in his head. Covered in tattoos and scraggly grey hair, white hair. And he goes, how's it going? And, you know, greets us and what'll you have? And it's kind of, well, what do you have? We don't, you know, hubby likes flathead and I like trevally. And he goes, no. If you wanted to get frozen food in, that's fine. But we have what we catch. We've got Atlantic salmon and we've got gummy shark. We've got whiting. And I kind of go, ooh, whiting. I haven't had whiting in like 30 odd years. Dad used to like whiting. And the fish bites. Normally, a fish bite is like a McDonald's chicken nugget. It's just shitty processed fish. And he goes, and the fish bites or whatever little bits of fish we have. And you get maybe 3 or 4 depending on the size of the scrappy bits of fish. And it's like, okay, this is sounding okay. So we buy a seafood basket for 2 because of what's described as in it. So it's got fish, it's got chips, it's got some prawns, it's got some scallops, it's got some octopus tentacles. That was an option. No, squid tentacles. Squid tentacles. And I was like, I know squids have tentacles, but normally it's calamari rings. Squid tentacles. Anyway, these all came out battered on a paper plate with the chips underneath, bucket loads of lemon. He hands us the tartar sauce and we go around the back to the seating area. And the seating area then overlooks, it's got some shade, it's got, you know, rustic benches, wooden benches, big long trough tables. And the vista is the jetty and then the gulch, the river, the opening for the water, the channel, and the rock. And it's really pretty. And we start eating, and one of the fish, I swear, you could eat it with your tongue only. It just melted in your mouth. It was divine. One of the other fish, so it wasn't all one fish. The tentacles were amazing. It was really, really thin. It was long. It was, you know, a good 10 inches, I reckon, of tentacle. It was tender as, and it was just beautiful. It was just lightly battered, you know, with a seasoned batter. And then the prawns, piping hot, you know, super fresh cooked. It was just amazing.
Oysters.
There wasn't an oyster. Well, we didn't get oysters. I didn't get oysters.
We talked about it there. Didn't we have oysters?
No, scallops. So Tasmanian scallops are different from mainland scallops. So if I've got any Aussie listeners here, Tassie scallops actually keep the roe on. And this is how we know whether it's a local cut or not. So this one had the roe on, so the whole thing gets cooked together. Whereas up in the mainland, and particularly in Melbourne, they actually take the roe off and all you get is the little nugget of white scallop meat. They are... No, it's not like having a fried egg. It's like having a honeyed egg.
No, because you've got
I suppose it's like having, So you've got this orange coral or pink coral of roe, and you've got the white. It's sweet and it's just an amazing piece of fish. Shellfish in the scallop. And they're not big. They're the size of a 20-cent coin kind of thing, 50-cent coin. Not big, but they're deep. They're about 1 centimeter deep. And yeah, it's just a little clamshell kind of thing. No, they've got coins like that. That's why I'm...
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm referring to a coin that they should be familiar with. So, I've gone spotted another arrow. Hold, please. So yeah, absolutely delicious. But they are honey sweet. I don't know. You know how, if you've ever tasted real lobster, how lobster has that kind of sweet fish taste? There's a kind of sweetness to it. Scallops have that too. absolutely divine. Actually, somebody got booked during the week. There were 5 people on a boat. Police were doing checks on marine activity down at White Beach, which is just, you know, it's a fairly local beach to Hobart, like it's an hour's drive away kind of thing. Police were down there doing their checks, and they came across a boat, and there were 700 scallops in buckets in the shells still. There were 5 people on the boat, and after a bit of investigation apparently, they discovered that only 2 people dove for the scallops. The cap per person is 50 per license, and you're not allowed to dive on behalf of some other license holder. So you basically have to go fetch it yourself. Aboriginals have all sorts of other leeways and things going on there. They get exemptions or some other.
There's still a limit, but they don't pay a fee.
Right. But there were 5 people on the boat, 700 scallops. They're supposed to only have 50 if they all did the diving. So 2 of them did the diving. So they ended up prosecuting, I don't know, marine police, whatever the heck they do. It was just on social media. They ended up prosecuting these guys and taking their diving gear and all the rest and saying, you have a limit and you must dive for your own scallops. And I'm kind of chatting with hubby going, you know, 50 scallops doesn't actually sound like an awful lot. It's kind of an entree for a family. Like you're talking a family of 4 or 5, you know, 10 scallops each. It's just an
They're not
entree.
oysters, they're scallops.
Yeah.
Oysters are little things.
Scallops are not big though.
Well, yeah, okay, it's not one.
But 50 is still plenty. 50 is still more than enough, yeah. And these guys were just, I don't know what they would have done. Whether they would have sold them or eaten them or just, you know, have a party and, hey, have some scallops and, you know, we're just chancing their arms, which people will do here, you know. But our marine police are pretty active. You can actually go down the wharf and see the marine boat. By golly, she's flash. It's a big, big boat. It lovely lines. Although one of them was made and was an absolute piece of horse shit. The police were going, oh my god. But there you go, penny pinching government agencies. But yeah, it's quite interesting that you can actually walk. You could actually step onto the boat if you were so inclined, because the boat, you know, has its home in the fish trawler area down in Hobart. You know, it's not locked up, big top secret or anything like that. Yeah. And the government or the media are fairly transparent about, oh yeah, so-and-so's just got the order for the new ship or whatever. You know, that kind of thing. So the locals kind of find out who's doing what where and who's got contracts and all that kind of stuff. So no secrets in Hobart. That's what I'm looking for. It's a peculiar town in that respect. Yeah, oysters. I used to get 12 or 24 oysters, and oh my goodness, I need it again. At Christmas, but I would do Kilpatrick. My ex would eat them raw. You know, it's like cold snot to me. But the lightest way I'd have them cooked would be grilled with some mayonnaise, like maybe a light wasabi mayonnaise. We actually have a restaurant that is an oyster farm, kind of based on an oyster farm kind of thing. So their menu is pretty much oysters, oysters, oysters. So you can actually get a platter of the various kinds, and they do like a lightly grilled with a garlic kind of crust, garlic buttered crumbs, that kind of thing. That's quite yummy, but I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way and get oysters all that often. It's usually like a Christmas treat, and it's a big Christmas treat here. And you can get a tray for I don't know, $16 of super fresh oysters. I can't believe how many of these I'm missing that I have to keep going back to. Yeah, so there's that. Oops, where'd you go? Oh, right where I needed you. Alright, before I go, are there any more? Yeah, I had so much I wanted to talk about this morning when I woke up. No, actually it was last night when I had too much to drink and I was going, ooh, ideas. But yeah, didn't write them down. That was a bit stupid. I need you back.
So we left the gulch.
Yeah, we left the gulch. We came home. Oh, what did we do after that? We came home. We dismissed the blowhole because there wasn't enough blow happening. The blowhole is it's a couple of rocks that are literally on the coast that you're standing on, and you can actually stand right next to this hole in the rocks, and when the waves come in, it forces the waves up the blowhole, and you can stand in their spray and you can take selfies, and it's all kinds of tourist available. So yeah, you wouldn't really want to do it.
Every now and then the tourists get sucked in.
Yeah, tourists get sucked in and stupid people get taken away. And yeah, we've got a couple of blowholes. There's a couple down at Eaglehawk as well, or one down at Eaglehawk. But they fenced all that off because it's, what does it do? It comes down a gully, but when it comes down with enough force, it'll actually come up and yeah, take a tourist back out with it. But it's through a little kind of tunnel, that one. But yeah, they fenced it off to stop the tourists getting sucked out because people are idiots. Yeah, we've been doing some investigating for a gimbal for me, for my phone. We found one that is akin to a selfie stick, but it has all the jerky thingies to prevent that jerkiness that I hate, and wanted to make it feel a little bit more kind of professional, so that would be for more out and about kind of vloggy kind of stuff, and just a better moving picture. So that is one thing I'm after. One thing I loved, I was talking to Terry about this during the week. She was asking me what the company was that I got my leggings from, because I mentioned it with the snag tight video or something. And I actually, oh my god, I couldn't find another. I actually predominantly only purchase Fabletics leggings. Now where have you gone? And the particular leggings that I am wearing currently, because I love them so much, is one that's got a side pocket. It's actually got 3 side pockets and a back pocket on it. So I would keep putting my pocket down my leg on my thigh, and I would do that on the walk constantly, so my phone was secure and I had free hands and the phone was easy to grab. It was kind of like drawing a gun kind of thing. It's like in the holster, out of the holster kind of, you know. And I'm kind of saying, oh god, there's another one. This is ridiculous. I was saying to hubby, I said, I'm going to want a holster for this, and he's going, yeah, we can work it out, and I can 3D print a holster to keep the selfie stick, because it collapses into, you know, that kind of pen size, but a little bit chunkier. But if it was in a holster on my leg, it means that it was always secured. I can walk around, get into position, and then take it out, so I don't have to worry about hands being occupied or falling and dropping it or anything like that. So That's the plan. But we were watching videos from Scotty Makes Stuff, I think his name is, and he's got some.
How it happened.
He came up with this, and then we
No,
started
no,
watching
no.
Scotty
You
Makes
said,
Stuff.
I want a gimbal.
I said I wanted a gimbal, and
And
Hubby
I said-
goes, I'm not buying you any kind of rubbish that they sell on
I've got
AliExpress.
one in mind, I'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
And you've gone, oh, something about $200, and I said, I'm not paying that amount
Yeah,
for that
he's-
sort of stuff. And,
Yeah.
and when we got here, I showed you the video, and you
Ah.
went, "Ooh."
It was some of it because he showed it to me in particular sequence. He's very particular like this in some cases. He builds the scene, and it showed Scotty running around with a camera, and it was, you know, one of those big gimbals, you know, with handle, and he was running, and I'm kind of thinking, oh, that's far too bulky. It's like you've seen, if you ever watch the makings of the movies, and you see the dudes running around with the Steadicams. So he showed all of these, and then he gets to the one that holds the phone, and it's kind of like, yes! Yeah.
And it was triple over. At
So he
$200.
sucked me in, wholly and solely sucked me in to support Scotty Makes Stuff, and I'll be getting eventually a gimbal for the phone, or we buy a camera that will fit into it so that my phone doesn't get
Or a
used for this.
4K device.
Yeah, or a 4K device or something. Or we even retire this phone, get a new phone, and this phone then becomes the camera or whatever it is. So I'll have a dedicated device to be able to do, you know, pretty good photography. He even showed Peter McKinnon, and I kind of went, oh, it's Pete! My husband's kind of going, who?
I'm still going.
He's still going who? He's a photographer, videographer, and he does stunning scenery. He's from Canada. He's fucking awesome.
Oh, you won your show.
And I actually said to him on YouTube that you remind me of my son, but he's in his 30s. Sorry, Pete is in his 30s. My son is in his 20s. But he still reminded me of my son. He had, you know, the half kind of scruffy kind of beard, but the mannerisms and the love and passion for what he does. It was just really, really cool watching him. He's like a little boy when he talks about photography. It's so much fun. And he does outtakes on his videos. The reason why I actually started watching Pete was because I wanted to improve me doing YouTube, and it was like, well, how do I improve YouTube for you and for me and all that kind of thing? And some guy did a video going, you know, people like Peter McKinnon, he was name dropping because this video was a bit of fluff, really. But he was name dropping, and I kind of thought, well, who is this dude? You know, I don't know who he is. Haven't heard of him. And he's kind of going, well, Pete McKinnon's, you know, he's got 1 million subscribers. He's only doing a video one a week or 3 times a week, and he does it like this, and he does it like this, and he does the intro to the camera and different things like that. And I'm kind of thinking, yeah, okay, big deal. But Pete's definitely got something special about him. He's also a photographer, so you've got a much wider sphere, I suppose, of interest in a photographer, because you've got not only the camera geeks who want to know all of the specs of your current camera and all of that kind of thing, but you've also got the people who just like watching pretty stuff, and far out he does some pretty stuff. And then he uses things like Epidemic Sound, and he has a video with the dude from Epidemic Sound, who is a mate of his now, because they just work together. And Epidemic Sound will make music for them and all of this kind of thing. And, you know, I'm kind of thinking, yeah, I can't afford to buy an Epidemic Sound subscription. Basically, it's a music library. It's a sound effects library that you can access, a little bit like Ben Sounds, a little bit like the YouTube library that you can subscribe to as a creator. Go away.
Sophie, come on, sit down.
to improve your videos, which is, you know, it gives me my intro. It gives me, you know, things like that. Hang on just a second. I'm a little bit high. That's a bit better. I'm a little bit high on my sound. So yeah, there's that kind of wanting to improve by watching the fun people. It's funny when you watch like Pete's videos because there's lots and lots of edits and cuts and jumps, and then you've got the outtakes, and yeah, where he screws up, and he's now got an office and he's got a fireman's pole in it. It's like, oh, so cool. He said he uses it like 50-60 times a day. He's such a child. But it's really nice when you see somebody that's passionate about what they do, sharing their love for what they love.
Can I have a fireman's pole in my man
Yes, yes, you can have a fireman's pole in your dungeon.
Upstairs. Up here. What are you going to lose for me to have a fireman's pole?
It'll go where the computer is. He wants to kick me out. There's nowhere he can kick me out because the downstairs is just a disaster and you can't walk in to be able to put anything in there. And that's where he's saying it needs to go. Oh, apparently it's my fault for not organising him. Yeah, me was my bad back. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And he's only a fair weather worker as well because he's got a bad back. So when it's cold and wet and miserable, his back isn't happy. So yeah, can't do that either. No. Just picking on.
Known this for years. Your bad back is
my bad back is recent, but it's yeah, it's
well, we can laugh about the things we might have done once.
Yeah, exactly. When we were young and carefree.
No, not in our old age.
No. In our old decrepitude. Yeah. Old age sucks.
Still moving.
And we're still in the middle.
Still moving you down to the computer.
Oh God. Evicting me. Gee. Anyway.
You want to slot down to my pole? Sorry, the pole that I installed. Gosh, that all came out wrong.
Yeah.
See, I'm innocent. You're not.
Oh, that's why I snigger like that.
Yeah.
Right, you weren't saying anything other than, you know, do you want to play on my fire pole? Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
I was all sweet and innocent before I met you. Don't go there anyway. Don't go there. No.
You need to get dressed. Yeah, you need to ask Daddy to get you dressed because we've got to go out.
Do we?
Yeah, I've got an appointment.
Oh. Did you know that, Sophie? In your room? What's in your room?
Dear. I know I still haven't organised the Christmas premiere video. Yeah, time is running away with me. And it doesn't help because we had specifically gone to Marcus's GP and said, we need this particular script. And he said, yep. And he gave us a particular script and he said it was repeats. It turned out it wasn't repeats. And I'm going, oh my God. And now we have to make another appointment. So this week is just gone to the birds. Yesterday was a write-off. So Saturday was the walk, okay, and Monday I noticed when I was changing Sophie that she had a scab in between her shoulder blades. That's what I thought. And thought nothing of it, thought maybe she'd just bumped herself and thought it was a bit odd, but, you know, kept going. I'm not going to go picking scabs off her. She picks them off her, but I'm not going to go picking a scab that she can't get to. I'm just going to leave it. So the next day I'm in the shower and under the water I do try and get the scab off, clean it, because it looks like it's getting bigger, and I'm kind of thinking, oh, and I don't wear glasses in the shower, so I can't see batshit in the shower. And I scrape it really hard, it doesn't come off, and I'm thinking, oh shit, what the... So I'll look at it when she's out and she's dry and she's snotty and she's looking a bit miserable and everything else. And then I get her dried off and I have a look at the scab again, and I feel like I'm blind even with the glasses, to be honest. She's kind of twisting to the side. I'm trying to get the scab. I can't pinch it with my nails because these, you know, the nails look pretty, but they're worth feck all when it comes to actually usefulness in some cases. So I'm not going to keep pulling at it with the nails that are just going to, you know, enrage the skin. So I go and grab a pair of tweezers and I go to pull this scab off without her, you know, reacting too much. Well, there's a bit of resistance, and I pull, and then I look at it and go, oh shit, it's tick. And I've squashed this thing to, you know, kingdom come then. And then I say to Dougal, the G one, I say to Dougal, tell me about the details of a paralysis tick. Because, you know, we have got them in Tassie. And it wasn't a black tick like I've pulled off lizards or my pets or anything else like that. And I get the image of a paralysis tick, and it's like, looks like the kind of tick that I pulled off Sophie. And I'm going, okay, what are the symptoms? And Dougal goes into more details, going respiratory issues, unsteadiness on the feet. And it's referring to pets. It's saying, you know, unsteadiness in the hind feet. I'm going, okay. And then I ring, when I see the picture that it looks like a paralysis tick and the respiratory issues, and I'm going, okay, she's snotty, she's got respiratory issues, she's 10 kilos, okay, and the brain is going ping, 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 you know, emergency, emergency. And I ring the healthcare hotline that we've got. So you can ring a healthcare hotline. It's 24 hours a day, I think I saw. Where you get hold of a nurse and they triage you over the phone, which is a really handy kind of system. I've actually used it up in, while I was on the mainland too. That's another story. So talking to the nurse, and she goes through everything. She takes all of Sophie's symptoms, makes a note of it, and she said, and the tick was removed. Yes, the tick was removed. And she goes, okay. And she said at the very end, and you need to see a doctor within the next 6 hours. And I'm thinking, oh, for fuck's sake. Right. So I ring our surgery, knowing there's no way I'm going to get hold of one of our doctors in the next 6 hours at this time of the morning. So ring up, speak to one of the nurses there, and she says, yeah, we can get you in with this doctor at 12. And it's like, fine, we'll be there, see you. And we get there. Oh, and when she's coming out with me to feed the pets, she's a little bit unsteady and wobbly on her feet. She stumbles a bit. And I'm kind of going, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. So we get her to the surgery, and because she's symptomatic, snotty, whatever, she's put into a clean room. And this is the first time we've come across any kind of COVID-y kind of treatment. And there's a do not cross line halfway across the room. And we get there and we're sitting in this room in isolation, door closed, and, you know, Sophie starts to kind of get to herself because I've given her some baby Panadol and she's perking up a bit. She looked stoned sitting on the table eating. Her eyes were droopy, they were red, she was snotty, she was just like, and it was just like, oh my god, my poor baby. And like I said, this is the second kind of cold she's ever really had. Oh my god, there's another pea. Have a pea please, Bob. All you Englishers will know that one. And the doctor comes in. Now, I actually looked up the doctor when we were on our way, and I went, oh my god, he's a child. And then there was the debate of, is a young doctor good because they're fresh out of study, or is an older doctor better because they've got the years of experience of people rather than books, so they're people smart rather than book smart. And I didn't have a problem having Andrew treating her, don't worry. Anyway, he comes in and I'm hearing this lilt of an accent and I'm kind of going, Scottish? It's like the ears are kind of going, where the heck is that twang from? I wasn't sure. It could have been a slightly American accent buried under the Aussie kind of thing. Anyway, he was pretty good, although this room wasn't his office, so he didn't have any access. So he's asking us if we have our phones, can we Google some phone numbers for him? So he wants to ring the Poisons hotline. He wants to ring the pediatric registrar. He wants to ring something else. He eventually gets through to the Poisons chick, and she does some checking, and it's kind of like, okay, blah, blah. And she comes back and eventually kind of says, okay, this is the deal. With a paralysis tic, you actually notice the symptoms 6 to 9 days after the paralysis tic is attached. Well, we got the tic off within 4. So there's that. So she's no longer getting the poisoning, let's say, of the paralysis tic, if it was a paralysis tic. Tics have other diseases. So hubby has Googled this, and he's going, I don't want to tell you this because you might freak out. And I'm going, don't you fucking treat me like this. Because he did do it with the previous, but she was in labour, I think, at the time, and didn't want to tell her that, you know, the preeclampsia could kill her and the baby. Anyway, that's other issues. I can't get this. There we go. Flip. So he tells me that, you know, oh, there's, you know how Dr. Google is. If you've ever Dr. Googled, it's never good. So there's Lyme disease, there's some other river disease, there's some Q river disease or whatever it is that the ticks can all carry. And the worst thing could be that she would later be allergic to eating mammal meat. What the fuck? Who ever heard of being allergic to eating mammal meat? Like gelatin, mammal byproducts or something. And it's like, okay. So anyway, she's still got the snotty nose. I propped her up last night, threw a pillow under her bed. As I said, I had too much to drink. Tried to pull her baby mattress up while she was still lying on. Not a good idea. And really, really hurt this nail here. And I thought, oh crap. And then I was looking around and noticed that this one had completely disappeared. And I'm thinking, oh crap. I don't want to have 2 weeks. These are, you know, brand new nails. I don't want to have 2 weeks of not having my nails proper. So I glued one, and then I went and pedantic, looked for the broken nail. So I'm pulling the cot out, eventually spot it and get it. And then as I'm looking for the glue, I went and dropped it, I thought, into my bag. I didn't drop it into my bag, so the husband didn't fuss with me while I was frantically searching for the nail tip on the floor, just kind of left me to it. Because I knew if I was going to leave it till today, I would have forgotten or would have, you know, just been stupid about it overnight kind of thing. So when I found the nail tip, glued it on, everything's all kinds of happy. That nail hurts like a bitch because it actually broke way down in the nail bed. So it's torn stuff. So it'll be healed by the time I get my nails done, but it's still a pain in the backside for a little bit while it heals like a normal wound would. But God bless nail glue. Seriously. Oh, look at you, you're all fluffy. And she's looking a bit fresh-faced. She had a Rudolph nose last night. And she was, you know, all over her sleeve. It was gross. But yeah, it's still clear. Still keeping an eye on infection and whether or not it changes colour. Look at your hair. Do you want to come and say hi to people? You come and say hi? No, she won't come and say hi. Okay, no, it's okay.
I've been wanting to try Carmen's shoes. Here you go. Up she comes.
Come here. Come and say hi. There's Sophie. Say hi. Ah, you get a flopsy wave. There you go, my gorgeous girl. Look at your fluffy blonde. She's so beautiful. We've got a bristle brush for her. Well, not for her hair. I actually got it for my hair. Marcus used to brush my hair. And yeah, I was thinking of you getting to do it. My hair is like down to my ass at this stage. But I was thinking of getting him to brush my hair. But yeah, I brush her hair and it goes fluffy and sleek and blonde, and oh, it's just to die for. I've never had a blonde child. All right, go play. Say bye bye. Oh, yeah, pen. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Thank you. All right, thank you, Sophie. Bye bye. Go. And Sophie, she's just a little bit on the warm side. She had a dose at 10. No. She came into bed. Marcus had been in the toilet and he came back to bed, and she's in with me and she's toasting. She's on fire. So I sent him out to go and get me the paracetamol. She sits up, and when I squirt it, some of it squirts everywhere. And it's like, ugh, yuck, sticky stuff. But she's really good at taking the baby paracetamol. It just goes into a syringe and it's got like 4 jets at the end. You could do it in a spoon, to be honest, but this is handy for kids. Yeah, but I probably need to get more. The bottle is nearly empty, just to have on reserve. Good stuff. Paracetamol for cold and flu and general crumminess. So she will pick up in half an hour. She'll be even more bright and alert and everything else. So she'll be in good form for the appointment too. Probably conk out in the car on the way to it, which is not far. And when I'm out, I then need to go to the French bakery, because I went to the chemist yesterday. So freaking sore. Went to the chemist yesterday, found out about the stuff-ups with the things. Marcus had to go and jump over to the primary school to collect the kid, and in the process of me faffing around in the supermarket, we always go and check the meat specials when we can. So I went in to check the meat specials, and there's sitting there a box, a gingerbread making box, so you could make your own gingerbread house. And I think it comes with all the pieces pre-made. Well, there's a pastry shop in this particular town, village, region of where we're going, and he makes gingerbread houses. He's a French patisserie baker. There's a stray black. Where did you go? Where did you go? There you are. He's a French patisserie maker, so he makes the gingerbread houses, you know, varying stages of prettiness on the tops and stuff. But when I last had it, he fills the inside with meringues, and they're yummy. They're not like fully crunchy. No, they might be fully crunchy. Either way, I don't know, they're 40-50 quid, or you can get a big one or you can get a little one. I got one years ago and it was amazing. I love gingerbread. And when I was there with a friend who was from work, that I caught up with, because she was off work while I was still working. Did I turn that? Yeah, I did. We met up and we went to the patisserie, and I asked them when they were going to be taking orders for the gingerbread houses, and they said, oh, I don't know, it might be a couple more weeks. We haven't taken any order. We're not taking orders yet. So I need to go back, and now I should be able to order, because they're in the stores. So people are going to be mega aware of these. And so you basically order them and you pick them up maybe a week before Christmas, or the couple of days before Christmas. No, Sophie. No. What? You've got toast. Eat some more toast and I'll give you a Smartie. Eat toast first. Bribery and corruption. So yeah, the gingerbread house is going to be a bit of a treat. They look amazing, and they're presented in a clear cellophane, like the cover of a DAC cover. Clear cellophane, so you can see all the prettiness inside. And yeah, then you just get a big tub and you smash it to bits and eat the bits. You know, so you get a gingerbread bit with a lump of icing on it, and it's pretty. They're really pretty. Whereas one I tried making myself ended up, I don't know, it was missized. One wall didn't match the other wall, so it wouldn't stand properly, and it ended up getting covered in the lollies, covered in the icing, and smashed instantly. And it certainly wasn't pretty. Icing is hard, and sticking bits to bits is hard too. So yeah, I'll pay somebody to do the work for me. Thanks. So I got that to look forward to for Christmas. And yeah, we've got the excitement, I suppose, of having Sophie full time. So we've got something to actually make a better deal of Christmas. I was saying to a friend during the week that Christmas is a bit like, I'd got the elf on the shelf and all that kind of thing, but it kind of became a bit of a nothing, because when you lose your kids 50-50, you know, for a week out of December, every 2 weeks, you know, you have them, you don't have them every week, you kind of lose. What's the point in an advent calendar? They're going to miss the week that they're not here. Is there any point with the elf on the shelf? And I just kind of lost it. And yeah, now we've got Sophie all the time, I might start doing some stuff and kind of go, hey, where's the elf? Or, you know, and she'll get a kick out of it, and she'll then have it on the days that the other one isn't here for, or whatever. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I might not do the elf this year. But at the appointment clinic that we're going to today, one of the staff members actually has an elf, and he hid it in one of the roof ceiling things, and you could just see the top of the hat, I think it was. I said, is that an elf? And he goes, yeah. He says, I hide it, I move him every day. And he's, you know, he's a big lump of a dude. He's like late 40s. You know, and it was just so fun seeing infectious humour in staff members who might otherwise be jaded because work is hard and COVID restrictions and all this kind of thing. He was lovely, and I loved the infectious. So I went in by mistake to the appointment last week, thinking that I've got 2 appointments in the same hospital, I'll make them for the same day. No, it was the wrong day, and the doctor couldn't fit me in because he was flat out and had been working through the night. Anyway, so it was like, oh well, we'll just come back next week. So yeah, derp. Silly me. I'm probably not going to finish this because I've got about half an hour left with time, and because this is so confetti heavy, I'm not going to get it finished, so I'll be coming back to you potentially to fill you in on a bit more, and my head will kind of have de-stressed a bit. Oh, it's the iPad I'm hearing talk, and it's like, is my computer playing a YouTube video in the background? Alright, so, couple of things that happened as well during the week. I got an email from one of my subscribers. You know who you are because you watch, and I would like everyone to know this. If you're going to email me and write to me, please don't ever apologize for the email to be long. I enjoy reading, and if you're going to share your life with me, I think that's a huge honor too. So please don't ever apologize for a long email to me. And feel free to write if you would like to. Because it lets me know you too. Now, I actually had the benefit of being part of a Secret Santa. So I was actually already spying on this person slightly and seeing things that they posted or whatever, and seeing if I could get some inspiration, which is a little tricky when you don't know the people. And so, you know, getting the story back of something that was significant to them because of something that I've done, it was awesome. It was really, really awesome. Seriously. I have got a video going up this weekend from a Mystic fabric haul. Oh my god, all the fabrics. Yikes. I've forgotten that I ordered so many. And these stitches come in too. Yay! More fabric. I need to get myself organised with stitching time and stop having so much inane Facebook time. Yeah. Haven't figured out where the community page is on YouTube yet. There's a tab that I can apparently open for the community tab so that you then get stuff in your newsfeed. Currently there's a discussion tab. I will work it out. I want to make an introduction video that goes onto my page to say hey and who am I and all of that kind of thing for new subbies, and for returning viewers as well, just as a bit of a hey, how's it going, who am I and what am I doing and where am I at even. So there's that I need to get onto. Yes, I am monetized. I am mindful of not overloading the whole monetizing and annoying ads. I actually have YouTube Premium, so I don't know how annoying some people are, but I do know there's one particular channel that I watch, and there are ads on some of the videos that I've seen like every 3 freaking minutes, and it's like, whoa, I am not doing that. I know they're trying to make an income, but that's crazy. It's potentially it's like TV for you guys in the States, but it adds like half an hour of ads, and they're not always skippable. But yeah, like I say, I've YouTube Premium, so I haven't seen ads in yonks. I see them when my husband plays YouTube because he doesn't have it, and it's like, what? What are they? And when you watch TV and movies, you know, direct off DVD kind of thing, you don't get ads, so yeah, you don't get the clutter. So I actually haven't seen TV ads in ages. So yes, I'm very much broken. And then you watch an ad and it's like, oh my god, and oh, maybe we should get that. I know, it's terrible. Yeah. So there's those positive changes coming to the channel. I don't know if I'm going to get invited to be a part of the member thingamajiggy. The YouTube creators' criteria for joining membership actually says that you're meant to have 30,000 subscribers. None of the people I have joined have 30,000 subscribers. They're more like 1 to 2,000 subscribers, and they've been invited into this membership with the tiers and all that kind of thing that you'll have seen. It's fairly cheap. It's kind of like the price of a coffee. So I don't know if I'll get that. As I said, I may actually do a coffee, and if I pay for the coffee service, which isn't much, I could actually have coffee subscribers, so you basically subscribe through the coffee system, rather than YouTube or anything else. And where did I put that piece of plastic? That would be a way that you can support me, my channel, and everything else, because I may end up then opening a coffee shop rather than an Etsy store, because there's some ideas that we have in mind for 3D printing, stuff that I enjoy, stuff that I want to dabble in myself, and that kind of thing. So yeah, I want to kind of share what I want to do. And that would be a way to keep it all in one kind of spot. And I know Etsy have some weird and wonderful rules, and that kind of thing. And look, to be honest, I don't know how selling in a store from Australia is going to go. Shipping is ridiculous. It's really ridiculous right now. And I don't know if people are going to be willing to buy physical items from Australia to have them shipped, and then, you know, all of that kind of thing. So, you know, we'll see. Testing waters, I suppose. yeah. The ash or the, no, the swarm. The snail even. Alright, so yeah, there will be some of those changes coming up, but for the positive, I hope. It's supposed to be 25 degrees today, which is something like, I don't know, 80s, thereabouts. Spring is coming. I've been bitten by mozzies, so I'm scratching, so I'm taking antihistamines to try not to scratch, because it's really... a mozzie bite for me lasts a week, because you scratch and you activate it all again, and it's itchy, and it's like, oh, you little bastards. God, why did you make mosquitoes? Seriously, why did you make mosquitoes?
And mine's almost gone.
Yeah.
Because I didn't scratch it.
Uh-huh. He also uses me as the bait, so that they don't get him.
Yes. Yep.
It's a bit cruel.
That works quite well.
The Irish blood. Apparently there's something in people's blood that the mosquitoes can send. Some people have it, some people don't. That's why some people get bitten more than others.
I'm a victim.
I'm a victim. Wow.
Nice and juicy. Plumped up in the
Yeah.
northern hemisphere.
I read a really interesting article in Quora this morning on people who have suffered from abuse of some kind and how you can spot them, I suppose. And I'm kind of reading through this article going, this is a very knowledgeable response to the question. And looked up what this person has as their handle up top, and they actually said that they're a practicing therapist. I was like, But there's some really interesting stuff about how we can self-sabotage, and we can be strong-willed, and we can be all these extremes, and it's kind of showing that we have come from a place of some kind of abuse, and depending on the age of said abuse, and then she was talking about neurons and stuff, and I'm kind of going, ooh, this is all kinds of Jennifer Roberts funky stuff that I love. Yeah. Some interesting things can come out on Quora. Some of the stuff can be downright weird. One of the questions was, I've accidentally injected myself with insulin. What should I do? And I'm kind of thinking, hang on, I've taken insulin. You can't accidentally take the damn stuff. You've got to put a needle on a thing, and it's fiddly as all bejesus, and then you've got to... You just can't do it. And...
With the heroin I was hoping to get.
Yeah, and... I was ready to let rip at this idiot going, what the fuck are you playing at? You cannot accidentally do this. Anyway, there were certain responses, and I didn't read all of them, but one of them blasted everyone saying, oh my god, get some sugar into you. Sugar, 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 sugar. Why is nobody else saying it to you? Yeah, but I was like, seriously? It's kind of like these funny warnings that you get. Do you read your appliance manuals? I dare you to.
No.
The appliance how-tos often have a section of do not do this, do not do this, do not do this. Well, some of the funnier ones are things like, do not put your cat into the tumble dryer. Do not put babies or puppies into the microwave. And you're kind of thinking, what the hell? Who was the idiot who actually did what they're saying not to do? I was like, oh god, yes. Is there hope for the human race at all? Yeah, it's scary. And then, of course, you see movies and things, and they're talking about the apocalypse and having the ark and having, hand-picked the breeding future of the colonies And, you know, they pick the smart people, they pick the doctors, they pick the scientists, they pick the blah blahs. Well, you know what the problem is with that? The doctors, the scientists, the people who make money with good jobs generally only have 1-2 kids. And they don't necessarily have them in their 20s because they're still busy in university studying. Slightly busy, preoccupied, you know. It's the shitty bogans who start breeding at the age of 16, throw out about 8 kids before they even know what they're looking at.
You're going all kinds of...
They're the ones you need in the ark if you want to get the population back up, not the smart people.
Yes, but you don't want just...
You want the people who can actually breed, not the people who can't. Because then you find that a lot of the smart people actually have fertility issues because they're interbreeding with the smart people and not enough of the bogan strain.
You're
I don't know what
all
it is.
over the shop on this one.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, the movies pick the wrong people. They don't think it through.
I don't know if you have either. I don't think I'll be following your argument, though.
God. I know, it wouldn't necessarily be... Yeah, anyway. It was actually a really... I think it was Genesis or something. It was... I was watching Picard during the week, and it's the guy who plays the ship captain there, and he's got this 3D... You can't actually see the controls, but it's kind of like this invisible dashboard, and you know, he puts his hand into the dashboard and he starts controlling things. But anyway, whoever plays that character plays the genius money bags in the other series that we were watching, and I don't know whatever happened to that series, but it was really, really cool. It was basically that they had an ark built, and there was a meteor going to impact Earth and annihilate the human population. So they basically wanted to have this ark as a ship, and this guy had already built it as a solution. And then it was sabotaged, and there was all kinds of funky things. But yeah, I don't actually know what happened to the series. But I kind of enjoyed it. But it wasn't so much about, you know, who was selected, although there were things. But, you know, they weren't bringing people up that had defects, which meant that he actually wasn't going to go because he had a heart defect. But sometimes you need the imperfections in society to help it work. And the other thing, you probably need a lot more women than you do of men. Because once the woman has the baby, she's kind of tied up pregnant.
And his equipment would be better serving another
Well,
female.
well, there's, yeah, it's like, how...
How many female do you reckon a man could service?
Somebody's crunched the numbers on that one. They said a man in their lifetime can father blah blah blah, and a woman in their lifetime can only mother blah blah blah, if you're lucky. Yeah, and it was the numbers really are completely
Where are you going?
complete dichotomy with that. Well, you could basically have a ship. I know the gene pool would be too small if they were all the same father.
Well, okay, so
Actually, you don't need the men at all. You just need sperm files from all the people left on Earth. You just have women on the ship.
we could start throwing into a big gene.
Oh, God. Yeah. Dear.
And we go swimming in the pool every day.
This is the kind of conversation you should have with more alcohol and stupidity happening and nothing serious.
Yeah, not before 10 o'clock in the morning.
Not before 10 o'clock. Yeah, it's too early for this shit. I can already feel the heat, or it's just me having a hot flush. I don't know.
And here's me thinking, why have we got Aussie pork chipolata in the shopping?
Sausage meat.
Why?
Don't be rude about that. I was going... Cal had said about making sausage rolls, and she made me want to make sausage rolls, and she said that she put stuffing mixture in with the sausages to make sausage rolls.
We're on a low week.
Okay, fine. Take them out. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Homemade sausage rolls. Because, see, we're not going to buy them. Because they're rubbish. But making them would be a thing. And I couldn't find... the popular sausage over in Australia is beef. It's not pork. So actually trying to get a pork sausage meat is not easy. I'm not sure why it's predominantly beef as opposed to pork. Maybe because the heat it doesn't keep, which is why people in Israel were told not to eat pork because it goes off and was dangerous and it was a health risk, and that's why they were initially told don't eat pork, don't eat only eat the cloven hoof animals. But yeah, it was Cal's fault. I have to say, I don't usually eat sausage rolls, but again, there's a cafe that used to make ginormous sausage rolls that were a big round, and you could get them as lunch. It was a little cafe in South Hobart used to do them. They were yummy. They also used to make pancakes that took about 20 minutes to cook, and it was like a cake when it arrived on your plate. It was huge. With, I think like a sauté type of apple on it. That was yummy. And ice cream, and yeah. But it was the kind of breakfast desserty thing that you were invested in because it took the time to cook, so you knew you were going to be there for a while. But that was a pretty good cafe too. I don't know what our next adventures are going to be. We were looking at buying a map, a digital map that we can actually put onto the TV, because we were talking about having a map on the coffee table. Well, the coffee table is never clear, so having a map on the coffee table just is ridiculous. But Marcus wanted to plan out the trips together, you know, with the kid around, and kind of go, well, if we plan this, okay, the waterfall is here. The drive is however long it is. And of course you can ask Dougal all the time, how long is this trip going to be? And you'll get a response. So you can kind of plan your day. And it was like, well, if we can plan it so that we've got the waterfall, sorry, we've got the drive, we've got the waterfall, we've got the pub, lunch, and then we've got the drive home. Or we've got the drive, a waterfall, short drive, another waterfall, short drive, another waterfall, depending on how easy they are to get to. You know, and then pub lunch and back home, or fish and chips, or whatever the, you know, the food stop was going to be as the weekend kind of thing. And it would be then planned to a point that you could kind of go, okay, we've got this day here, what are the options? And it's already worked out, so you don't have to, all the hard stuff's done. Yeah. Alright, I am going to, find two more colours. I'm going to finish up here for now. I have washing to throw out onto the line before we go. And I've just realised that there's more snails on my canvas, and there's a plus, so I'm going to flick them back out as well. So, snail and a plus. I think that's it. Everything else I've got. Oh, missed an 8. 8's 939, so it's dark. Where'd you go? Oh, and the other thing I got, I bought myself a Taste Ireland box. So I have, I'll show you. I'll do an unboxing and a tasting, and show you what it is I love from Ireland. It's from a company that imports it to Sydney, and then they distribute from Sydney out. And they said I can't get it in the stores anymore. My Irish chocolate. So it was like, I'm potentially going to kill somebody if I don't get my Irish chocolate and have a stash.
Help!
Yeah, my husband says send help. Yes, so now I have a stash. It'll last me for a year. I'm happy if the kid does not get into it. She doesn't know what's in it yet. When she finds out what's in it, she'll get into it. She actually got into my Airheads from Misty, and she opened the penguin out of the wrapper, and it was broken inside, so there was 2 chunks, and there was this, and she put it into a bowl. She was all nicely prepared. She came in and she showed me. So I took the penguin and ate it in a hurry. She wasn't impressed. But I'd already got the Freddo caramel frog because she was asleep on the couch beside me. I was like, ha! I didn't even realise it was caramel until I opened it and started, all this goo comes out, and it's like, oh, it's a caramel! I was like, oh, thank you, Rachel. So yeah, that came with Rachel's Penz. That video was on Tuesday. Alright, I'll be back. It's going to be a flash for you guys. It's going to be hours for me, and I know the video is going up late, but I do want to share this with you, and then it's going to take editing time, and enjoy the photos that you would have already seen. So I'll see you shortly. Hey, I'm back. Alright, do you remember when I mentioned about going to the shop after the appointment and getting the gingerbread house ordered? No. Look at this baby! And it's full of meringues. I'll give you a 360. So this, it's not a huge cake. It's called a shack, actually. I think when he was doing it initially, it was fairly new. Excuse the crackle. Sweets on this galore. I don't eat the licorice anymore. I might give it a go, but I don't know. But there's a lollipop in there, and as I said, it's full of meringue. It's like the bonus surprise that you didn't think was coming if you didn't know what you were getting. How cool is that on the roof? It's a proper gingerbread house that Hansel and Gretel, oh, I've gone and dipped the top into my coffee that I've just made. It's a proper Hansel and Gretel gingerbread house. And Sophie's already eyed it off. She knows exactly that it's food, but she won't go and eat her biscuit that I've bought from the shop either. Ah, first coffee of the day. Alright. I know this video is getting long and I'm going to be stuck now with processing time, but I'll keep maybe talking and see how we go. If I stop talking, I've got coconut stuck in my tooth from a macaron that was on the top of my cake. But if I stop talking, what I might do is speed it up so that we get the block finished. I can't believe this block is taking so long. That's one. That might be it. Yeah, what are the hopes of that? No, just spotted a Z. Don't know if that's edible. We arrived back home. Hang on. I had a notification that one of my parcels had been delivered. And that was the thread that I figured was coming from my stitchy shop, because that was due anytime soon. Oh my god. Well, the mailbox when we got home was full of a couple of envelopes and a magazine, I think. And a bill. Oh, joys. And I think there might be a new SIM card in there for me for my phone service, which is going to give me a bucket load of data. That's yeah, the bill is, we pay it in advance, not in advance, we pay it so that it's in credit, or it's...
So that by the time we receive it, there's nothing to pay.
Yeah, so there's, I think, 100 due. It's a quarterly bill. It's like $1,000 a quarter for power bill for the house. which has machinery and lights and everything else running full tilt all the time. So I have missed a percent. I'm twisting. Hang on. Percent. Hey, can you hear her chattering? She didn't fall asleep on the way to the appointment, but she did start nodding off on the way back. So now we have to time it so that she's changed and thrown into the bed and she goes to sleep. Changed and bed. Yep, that's what we do. But yeah, got home and so stuff out of the mailbox. And then we came up to the front door, and on the front door, next to the front door, we've got a seat, kind of bench seat, and there's a box with a grill, and the postie had left a trove of mail for us both. Hubby, because he gets computer chippy things, I'm just reaching into the bag to get one. Because he gets computer chippy things, they're kind of this size envelope. So there was, I don't know, about 20 of those between us nearly, it seemed. Yeah. So this is stock for the shop, for the coffee shop that I was talking about. Those envelopes contain that kind of puny. Let me see if I can get you zoomed and see if you can see how... Okay, do you see that that's an 8-legged computer chip? Yeah. They're tiny, and they come in those kind of envelopes. From China. He says they're a bugger to solder. I thought he'd fix the bugger to solder issue by getting paste, and the magic of soldering with paste is that it just goes... It's quite funny to watch. And if you were able to get a sequence of videos watching this happen, it would be all kinds of magic. I'm looking for the snail that I missed a bunch of. There they are. So yeah, still picking coconut out of my teeth. Terrible. There was a bright blue macaron. I could have taken a picture but didn't. There's a bright blue macaron on the top of my cake, which was a little chocolate kind of slice with a biscuit at the, not a biscuit, a soft sponge at the bottom, then a layer of chocolate cream, then a layer of another chocolate cream kind of thing, and it went up, you know, about 2 inches, 3 inches. And then it was smoothed off, and yeah, it was just a round little cake. They are big, but they don't need to be big. I've gone and left a chunk for Sophie. Oh, there was pistachio in it, but it was topped off with a chocolate swirl and a big bright Dayglow blue macaron. The kind of ones that change the colour of your poos. Those kind of bright colour.
You are losing your subscribers right now as they
visualise a bright blue macaron.
As they cringe and listen to this beautiful description of these edible treats that they probably aren't eating while they're diamond painting.
Oh.
Oh, gosh, the cruelty. Don't rub it in at all. I just thought I'd bring it up, you know.
Okay, thanks. Yes, come to Tasmania. I'll buy you a cake. They probably wouldn't ship very well. I'm going really, really badly here with... I need one of those. Husband goes occasionally, oh, I've twisted too far. I just realised what that means. Do you hear the sound effects? I think she might be driving a car. Hang on, I've got... And I found a... No, was it a H? No, it was a snail. Again. Ah, dear me. Alright, so what's going to be happening in... well, what's happening next week? Next week is going to be full of Sophie and Toffee, I think. I have the Sophie and Toffee box for November, I think it is, to open. I have nothing yet from Darn Good Yarn. I found another 2. So that will be at the start of the month. I don't know if mail is getting slow. I know it's going to slow down coming up to Christmas. Because if people can't visit, they're going to put more things in the mail, I reckon. And then, of course, we've got less people in the mail services moving it, logistic-wise. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So if you need to mail stuff, get it in early. Don't wait for the cut-off date. I don't think the mail service is suggesting anything but get it in the mail early. And to be honest, if a present has to sit at its destination for a couple of weeks, so be it. I think it's better to be there than not be there at all and have nothing for Christmas. We were driving home and saw a Christmas tree up in somebody's house today, and that was the first. We have got Christmas music in the supermarket. I don't know if, what do they do? I think I did see Christmas chocolates or something in the supermarket before my birthday. That's in mid-September. That annoys me. But they seem to concentrate more this year on Halloween. Like, that does seem to be getting bigger. But the Christmas music and the giant baubles and things like that are out in the stores. The Christmas chocolates, there's always, the special chocolates. They've got the extra little gondola cardboard stands for all the chocolate that you need to be baking and all of that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually know what my kids are doing over Christmas. I don't know that their dad is going to be back for it. And then you've got the one up in Sydney, and all that kind of thing.
You're saying the poor darlings might be coming begging for a Christmas meal.
No, I don't. Don't even know what we're cooking for Christmas. I haven't really given it much thought.
I vote the slow smoker.
Oh, Marcus votes a slow smoker, which is an ugly drum smoker. I talked about this last year. It makes the most divine turkey, to be honest. It is a 40-gallon drum?
Let's call it a 40-gallon drum.
40-gallon oil drum. And it did have oil in it. We got it from a petrol oil supply station for, I don't know, $20, $5 each, something pittance. We burnt the inside with a pallet that we had got free from the back of a stationery office store. And I think also from the hardware store. There was a lot of scrap wood and stuff, so we broke up the pallet, put it into the oil drum, burnt it off, and it went whoosh. Actually, we drained the oil first. There was a good couple of litres that we got of oil that was down the bottom. That was beautiful and clean. Oh, I found another snail, and I found another percent sign. And it went whoosh. We burnt it on the driveway, which is a little bit naughty, but I had rung the fire service beforehand to say, hey, can we do this? And they said, if it's scrap, no, you can't. But if it's timber for fire, for heating or something, yes, you can. And I was like, okay, well, letting you know we're making a fire and you don't need to call fireys out. Because it was getting into the hotter end of the year, November, I think, when we were doing it. And there's restrictions. We have fire restrictions because everything is just too dang dry and it'll all go poof if it catches.
In a state that's flammable.
Yeah.
With the trees are out to get you.
The trees are out to get you. Everything's out to get you in Australia. Yes. So, I'm not quite sure how much bushwalking we're going to get done in the heat of the summer. Probably not much, because snakes are starting to move already. There was reports online of a lady who had 2 dogs, one of them a Great Dane, and I don't know what the other one was, but she came home and found that her dogs had been bitten by the snake, brought them to the vet, and I think the treatment was going to be exorbitant, so she's put them down. We do manufacture snake anti-venin here. They usually wait until the dog is symptomatic, but it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that it's going to be a fatality in most cases. You basically treat, the guys in the States probably be more familiar with this anyway. You basically treat the venom with the anti-venin once the symptoms start. You don't preempt it, because the anti-venin is just as dangerous as the venom, because it's made from snake juice. Same with I don't know if it's the same with spider bites, but veterinary care costs a small fortune here, probably as in the States too, and most people don't buy pet insurance. Sorry, I'm making noise. I was only talking to this subject with Marcus the other day, that in Ireland I had a dog who I'd had from the age of 14, 13. Brought him to the vet because he wasn't well, and the vet said, look, there's nothing we can do, it's neurological, take him home. And they must have run bloods or something on him that cost me a small fortune. And when I got the bill, actually brought him home, he died in my lap that afternoon. But when I got the bill, it was like £400, and I'm kind of thinking, holy cow, I can't afford that kind of, and that was for hardly any treatment. I can't afford that kind of cost if I get another dog. So the next dog I'd got, I paid for pet insurance, and at the time it was like £10 a month, and it covered heaps. Caleb was a young puppy, and Caleb ended up having symptoms that made me bring him up to the vet, and it turned out that he had what's called an intrahepatic shunt, which is basically the blood vessel bypasses the liver, so he was toxifying himself. And because of the pet insurance, the vet was able to say, you know, go ahead, get him treated, and it cost thousands, but it was mostly covered. And I had a surgeon who happened to be visiting Ireland to do the operation.
And where was he from?
And he was Australian. He was operating on a few dogs that period that he was in. My sister's golden retriever donated blood for them. And yeah, Caleb didn't make it. He got sick again, and we ended up putting him down because basically all he was going to do was poison himself from the inside out. But the weird symptoms were that he was eating the kids' socks and then walking blindly into walls. And the vet was only just saying, I think he ended up, I took him to the vet, told him all of these weird symptoms, because I kept on finding the baby socks. The kids were under about 2 or 3. So they're small socks.
Clearly it was a case of sock blindness.
Right. Stinky sock blindness.
Nothing to do with livers.
Anyway,
5,000.
I think I went to his clinic, which was just across the road from me, came home, and he rang me and said, I think I know what it is. So yeah, we investigated and we found out that it was, and then the surgeon was there, and yeah, awesome timing. But yeah, bizarre. He was a pup that was actually picked up from a house near where my dad lived at the time. I was like down the lane and just happened to hear that they had had pups, and he looked like a black retriever. He may have even been a proper breed. I mean, he wasn't papered or anything. He was, and I think he was a freebie, but he may have been a proper type of like a water retriever kind of thing. But he was black and he looked like a retriever, and he was an angel. He was an absolute angel. Oops, forgot to put my drills back. He is not the black dog that I actually have pictured, because I didn't have any good photos of Caleb. I didn't have a digital camera back then, so I'm not sure where my photos of Caleb would be. So the picture that I have, I think I've got it out. All right. 5. I think there's only one of you. The picture that I'm going to start using anytime depression hits or shit hits the fan and I get a bit down, I'm going to actually use my black bitch. Hold on just a second. I missed a plus. I think it was a %. Yeah. Alright. So I actually had a black bitch. She was a black Cocker Spaniel. She may have been a true Spaniel or a mix, but she looked like a Cocker Spaniel. I have been fortunate enough to actually get a picture of a diamond painting of the black Spaniel, and it looks just like her. It's quite uncanny. So whenever something goes down like that again, I'm going to focus on something slightly positive in the morose situation, and focus on my girl Mizzen instead. And I actually sent a picture of her to a friend to say, look, you know, when the black dog is biting, you can, you know, think of this one. Don't know if I'm going to have enough of these ones. No, I'm not. I'm sure I'm not. I've got a cluster here and a cluster here, but it's deceptive. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Right, no, I'm obviously not in the right frame of mind for this conversation. I'll butt out.
Okay. She begged for the cake and she's too busy playing now. And I gave her a cinnamon star and all. She didn't even taste it.
Ungrateful.
Uh-huh. It's not lollies. But I'm going to have to put the gingerbread house. See, I'd like to have it somewhere that I could, you know, display it. It's pretty. But if I put it anywhere within her reach, she's going to get it.
It doesn't matter whether it's in her reach, she'll find a way of reaching it.
Yes, this is true. But I'd like to be able to see it. There is a bookshelf over yonder. I could put it up on.
We've got the heat of the summer coming.
Yeah, but it will keep until March, which is not... It's not going to keep until March. And it doesn't need to be chilled. In fact, chilling gingerbread would be all kinds of terrible, because then you lose your cinnamon flavours. Alright, need more.
Why is that?
Because chilling... The effect of chilling food, chocolate or anything else, means that you don't get the full flavours when you eat it.
I get that, but why cinnamon?
Well...
And why not the ginger?
It would be everything. Yeah, it'd be everything.
Well, why did you specifically mention
Oh,
ginger?
God.
I'm just asking.
Because I did. Right? I did. Right? In error. Okay? You happy now?
No.
Oh, my
I
God.
feel like I sunk your cinnamon bag.
$8.92. I just have a big bag. Oh, that's a shame.
Let's wipe all the snot off your arm. Okay? Come here. You're attached to it now, are you? Come here. Come on, snotty girl. Come here.
Oh, dear.
NFC sticker?
Right. Now, hubby has put an NFC sticker on his pills, which technically he's supposed to scan when he takes them, which means that I get an alert to say he's taken his pills. And he's got a system set up that goes, he hasn't taken his pills, he hasn't taken his pills, go take your pills, go take your pills, instead of me having to nag him to take his pills.
There's a reader that mounts on the wall next to where the pills get stored. When you pick it up, well, we might even have to put a camera next to it, so that when I scan it, it takes a picture of the person who, you know, pills on tongue.
Oh god.
Yeah.
He is a shocker. He used to have alarms set before I came along, then I came along and I became the alarm, and yeah, he's terrible. He barely even wears his watch anymore. He used to have a Pebble watch and he'd always wear it because the charge time was, you know, 10 days. It was awesome. Now these watches, these TicWatches, you have to charge them every night. Now it doesn't bother me, it's quite a big chunky watch, and I've now got into the system of taking it off at night, putting it on charge, so then I only have the bracelets on at night. But yeah, he seems to forget to put his back on or something. I don't know. It's just fiddly. The Pebble worked, but they stopped supporting the Pebble watch. It was a Kickstarter thing. Yeah, Fitbit took over the software. Yeah, Fitbit.
I don't know. I did this one. I ended up getting bought out by Fitbit.
Oh, U-turn. U-turn? Have I done U-turn?
Right. So, we go here.
He's just playing with his toys now, and problem is he talks out loud.
No, we don't.
Yes, he does.
I
And
talk to myself when somebody else is listening.
yes, it's very annoying when you're trying to concentrate on something at the same time, though. And you just hear the inane chatter, and it's just like, ah.
Read.
No.
No.
All right. Yeah. What else was I gonna say? Can't think. Still haven't received my frog sassy pouch. I think it's going to be early December that comes. Maybe if it comes in November. So that would be interesting. It's going to certainly help me have maybe a point of reference for the vlogging, but it's not going to give me time to practice the vlogging. That's the only thing. So yes, we'll see how that one goes. I know a couple of you have expressed that you're looking forward to me doing some vlogging, so yeah, it's kind of like me as a subscriber, because this is what I kind of focus on. It's both me as a subscriber and me as a creator. What do I want as a subscriber from my creators? You know, what do I want to see and hear from the regulars that I watch? And yeah, it's the life stories, it's the everyday kind of happenings in a way, and it's seeing where they live. Sorry, hairs are flying around. Seeing where they live, so it might be, you know, a road trip or a walk or something like that. I particularly do get nostalgic when I've got videos from Rachel showing bits of her neighborhood and stuff. Sometimes it's hard to know if a video is worth jumping on. And I know I'm guilty of this, and in a way I kind of do it on purpose. Rather than, you know, I know I will jump on the ones that have a title. So say for instance Beth, Shine Like a Diamond. I don't necessarily watch Beth all the time, but Beth had some news recently that she was sharing with her people, and she included that in the header of the video, in the title, and it made me jump on and go, what the? And, you know, now kind of keep track of where she's at. You know, whereas I am keeping my title as it's just the WiPnChat. So it's for those people, I suppose, who want to hear that prattling for the hour or 2 or 3 even that this one seems to be going to, as you're doing your own project. There was the TV was on in the background at the clinic that I was at this morning, and they were talking about doing podcasts. I've never tried doing a podcast, but that could be something, you know, that I could sit here and diamond paint, but I could be just recording and use the audio on a podcast, because it's not really important you see what I'm doing, I suppose, all of the time. That could be something I could investigate. I really don't know. I hadn't considered it really. I don't really listen to podcasts. There was one of a true crime thing that came out, but never got into it. And the reason why I didn't get into it was because I kind of feel that having the audio only is slightly invading the household, and it's the kind of thing that gets talked over because it's just on like the radio kind of thing. I guess does that make any sense? Yeah. So it's not like I'm going to be interviewing people or anything else. I know of a beer podcast, and there's 3 hosts, and they're critiquing craft beer or saying what shenanigans they get up to, or that kind of thing. But yeah, I have no clue into that world whatsoever. And I don't know that I really want to be across a whole heap of platforms. Maybe in the long term. I know Beth was saying that she's fairly new to doing TikTok. I have no idea how TikTok works. All I see are Mrs. Coffee's kind of forwards of TikToks that she finds funny. So I've no idea if it's all like microblasts or longer videos or anything like that. And I don't want to know. I'm not really interested. And I know Trump was making a big deal about not letting it into the States and all of that kind of thing because it was China.
I don't want it here either.
And yeah, hubby doesn't want it here because it's China. He actually buys lights from the store that he knows he can kick China out of the light on, because it's software that reports back to China. So he flashes it and puts his own controls on it, and yeah, basically tells him to piss off in whatever coding world he does. What?
I don't tell him anything.
No, he doesn't tell them anything. He just doesn't even put them in there in the first place. It's like getting your, well,
It's like buying a Mac.
it's like buying a Mac computer and never booting Mac and putting Windows on it. Did you say? It's like my laptop. My laptop is a Windows laptop. It's never had Windows operate on it. He put Linux on it, and it boots to Linux. And I now know how to boot it to Linux. And Windows has never been initiated on the computer, so it's not taking up all its brains. Not that it has much brains, but the main thing is Windows is not alive on it. But it's still there. So he does that with the lights. He basically puts his stuff on or something and works its magic and then goes, hey, we've got lights that he can control And it doesn't have to go to China to say turn the light on and come back to here to say, okay, light's on. Yeah. Yeah, so he's put in new light switches today that control a fan. Oh, the fan is going. The fan has never been switched off for, you know, any great length of time, but yesterday it was turned off while he was working on it. And when it was sitting there stationary, you could see the dust bunnies that had gathered around the outer edge of the blades. Oh, right, when I finished up with you guys at the 1 hour 40 mark, I went out and I put the washing on the line, and while I was out there in a mad panic to try and get finished, I was getting bombed. She's into your mail. I was getting bombed by a blackbird mum who was coming out from the tree, underneath the tree, and swooping up, and she ended up perching on top of the washing carousel. We've got a rotary washing line. She perched on the top of the rotary carousel, and she had a mouthful of bugs.
It's a Hills Hoist.
Hills Hoist, if you know that kind of...
Central Australian...
yeah, the Aussie roundabout washing line. And then she swooped back under the tree, and I could hear this, and I'm thinking, what the hell? And I wasn't sure if our next door neighbours were out in their yard, and could hear this rhythmic knocking, and then she would come swooping back and perch nearby with a mouth, like she's got a beak here. There was a mouth, a big cluster of flies stuck on her beak. Haven't quite figured out where her nest is, although she did then jump into the jasmine right behind me, but I'm not hearing babies screaming, so she's feeding young, but I don't know where, so that'll be amazing to see. We've got lots and lots of blackbirds around, and these blackbirds have learnt the warning call. They're not a silent bird, but they have to be taught the warning call. You know, the shriek kind of... oh no, I can't replicate birdsong. I'm terrible. But along with they do a swoop that's a kind of curve, but they also do this high-pitched kind of beep, 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 beep kind of call as they fly, and that's their warning call. But the blackbirds have to learn that call, and if they don't learn it, they remain silent. So if you didn't know that before, there you go, that's a handy tidbit. So some of the blackbirds around here are silent, but some of them are noisy. And I often get the blackbirds coming up. They'll take food out of Mokka's bowl, because I give him fairly small kind of kibble, like, I don't know, 1 centimetre size round kibble. And the starlings come down and also steal the food, and the blackbirds go up to the cat's run and will go for the food that's kind of dropped around or falls out of the pit where the cats are, because they're on a slightly raised bed level, and it tumbles down from their boxes, from their feed bowls, and the birds take advantage. And occasionally the roos come in. We have got photos of a roo, wallabies, big mice, wobblies. We've got photos of a roo in there, wallaby. Oh, shut up. Anyway, in the cat run, which is, you know, a kind of enclosed area. It's down our driveway. It's through a gap in the hedge, and it's an enclosed kind of cloister that they're coming into. They're quite brave, brazen, whatever, coming into that. But then they also go into the neighbour's yard as well. I've taken photos of a big boy who was over there last week or the week before, just lying down. Then he gave this massive big yawn, and then he sat up, had a bit of a scratch, leant back on his tail, and then lay down on the other side. Went back. I was like, oh my god, you know. And this was when we had the debate about whether or not the neighbour has a gate locked on the side of his house, or how are they getting in. But they're not always there. And we'd come home regularly from getting me from work in the evening at dusk, and the wallabies would be out in the neighbour's garden across the road, just having a nibble on the grass. They'd come up from the back of her house, where she would put the feed down just behind the rise, and you might see a few of them, but a few of them would come out the front of the yard and cross the road and things like that. So they're common, but no less delightful. And we've had a couple of kookaburras. Marcus came in from cooking the meat last night saying, "Oh, this kookaburra is starting." So, you know, he's over 50 and he still gets a thrill with kookaburra. Especially when he's out cooking, yeah, because it's company, and it's all kinds of Aussie, and they sound amazing. The laugh, and I've said to Sophie, I think our joke is we're going to call them the Waka Wakas. Waka Wakas, see. Until she gets the hang of being able to say kookaburra. I mean, she has said it, but Waka Waka sounds much more fun. So, yeah, there are Aussie animals and Aussie adventures. Marcus isn't necessarily thrilled about going to an animal park. I think we'd much rather get to see things in the wild. So that might mean that we're never going to see a Tassie devil in the wild. And that's okay. They're shy and they are nocturnal Tassie devils. And we don't like driving after dark. Driving after dark really means we're out late. I'm not quite. Oh, I just had a DAC delivery. He actually said to me, I need to start ordering bigger parcels.
I said you.
Sorry, yes, he said me needed to order bigger parcels because it was confusing having all of the parcels the same size between us both. So, yeah. He gets all kinds of dejection when I get the mail and he doesn't. So for him this morning was like a party. He got spectacles. Sophie, please stop. You're going to knock things flying. So these are... It's a 2-pack DAC order. I can't remember what it was. And it's not going to say it on the outside. She's tipping it top over tail to get to me. And it's in the red and white box. Stop, you're going to hit the keyboard. Just leave it there. Thank you. Thank you. Stop. I'd have to go into my order to remember what it was. And then I've got, I think, 1 or 2 on pre-order to the end of November. I think they get to ship. No money. Not buying any more for a while. Yes. But I have plenty. It's certainly not like I couldn't do more. Or do plenty of diamond painting. It's just the unpacking or the unboxing or the showing and sharing what they are, where the magic is. Tomorrow's video is John Sloan. There's 3 ABs in Reflections. That's the one with the little kind of Amish kid with the bucket hat on.
Mommy.
Sophie, oh, you sound all kinds of snotty.
Get up.
You want to get up? Oh. Sophie wants to get up. Yeah, shiny cheeks. Ugh. There she is. Flopsy gets to sit on the side.
Okay.
I smell a smell. Oh, you can have that. I don't think I've put any wax into it or blue tack. Be careful.
Oh, me.
Have you got a poo?
No poo.
No poo. Yeah, you keep saying no poos and they're already in your nappy.
All gone.
Yeah, all gone. Problem is, at the moment, because she's not well, they're more acidic, and if they sit on her skin, I get worried that she's going to get nappy rash. Oh, that's the lunchtime alarm. Get your head out of my way, kid. No, you smell. Go. Say bye-bye. Good girl. Go ask Daddy if you can change you, please. And he can do his other trick. Hey, Sophie, you'll need Flopsy. You know, the lying horizontal. On the couch. The small one is going to go lying horizontal in her bed. Can you please change her?
Oh, it's like hypnotising chicken.
Yes. Yeah. Which is why she's not telling us because she's got a poo, because she knows that when she has a poo, then she gets put in bed. Not all the time, but she's beginning to associate the two. Oh, she had jelly beans when we were out. Stephen goes, there should be some jelly beans or lollies around somewhere, because Marcus had brought in some lollies to keep Sophie occupied. And yeah, he found a bag of jelly beans. Oh God. They were right next to him, yeah. Oh, he reckons it was cruel. So they fought over a snake. Marcus had brought the snake. But they fought over the snake. He ate the snake. She got pineapples or something. Yeah. Okay. Alright. I had considered going live. I actually am not sure. Tuesday night is not a terribly busy night, but it's still got people in it that I'm not going to bump over. I was up early this morning and considered going live before other people. Flopsy's on the couch. Glass? I don't have a glass. Oh, for your eyesight. Wow.
Wow. Your eyesight, wow. Let me have a look at your eyes then. Give me a look at your
Flopsy's on the couch.
Let me have a look at your eyes.
The flat pack roadkill.
Those eyes look pretty good. Let me just take you into the other room and examine the other end of you. See out that as well.
He used to sing, was it Four Little Ducks or something? Whenever he changed her nappy when she was little. Hasn't done that for ages because now she talks. But that was quite funny. Oh God, listening to him sing to her. Apparently it was the only song he could remember. He made an effort to remember it even with the head injury, and he was struggling to remember lyrics. So he went to a lot of effort to do this song as a thing for his girls when they were little. Yeah. But yes, time changes. Times change even. Oops, get back in your box. One of these is lifted. All right, I am there. Holy cow, this is one hell of a whip and chat for you guys. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. I don't think I said it in the beginning, but please remember to fill out the Google form. If you're not in it, you cannot win. I am not necessarily the kind of person who will make a great big announcement, or sure as hell won't be putting the words giveaway in it in the title of a video, but what I will do is potentially tell viewers partway through a video that you need to do something in particular, and be in with the chance to win. So you please put your details in the Google form, and they will be treated with 100% confidentiality unless the men in black come looking for you or me, and I take you down with me. And I will do random acts of crazy, which is pretty much, I'm going to have got to know you over however long as either a subscriber, or I will go stalk you on Facebook, just warning you now. I'll go stalk you on Facebook or Instagram, and I might see what you like, and I might just throw something in the mail, because I can. Because it's potentially easier in some ways for me to go, hey, Amazon, rather than mailing a package from Australia, which is, you know, postage and cost of the item and that kind of thing. So, yeah. All right. What am I down to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did one last week when I was listening to somebody. Down to 6 sections. That's getting exciting. As I have always said, I'm still loving this. I'm still loving doing it. I love coming back to it and kind of going, let's finish this baby, you know, let's get it done. It has been an absolute pleasure doing this. I'll leave it open so that I can take a picture and upload it to the group. I don't think I've uploaded one to the group for a while, and just let Julie know how I'm doing. Julie Murray was my swap partner in this particular mystery, which is finished, and they're starting a new one. So they're on mystery 2. If you're interested in joining along in the mystery group, it's Crafting Journey, I think is the name of the group on Facebook. Rebecca Schilling's group. There'll be a sign up coming for the January-February mystery swap, and you can get in on that. There's probably about 60 people doing it. So yeah, you got a good chance of getting somebody that you might know or not know or what, but it's a lot of fun. They're not necessarily serious pictures. I think Jennifer or no, maybe it's Stephanie Wolfpack, the one that she's doing right now. All we can see at the moment is kind of fluff at the bottom and a big cheeky kind of whisker, and we have no idea what it is. So we're all kind of saying it could be a sloth or a cat or a lion, or some weird ass hairy butt cheek. You know, it's that kind of fun. I actually have no idea what her picture is. I can't wait to see it. I think she's doing the swap with Rivka on the YouTube live. But no, not everyone is going to be a creator. It's a way for you to get to know other people. Retreat wise, I did hear the Michigan retreat is full and the wait list is also full. So if you didn't get in, you're out. And the Texas retreat is the Texas retreat that's actually in Missouri in October is actually, I think there was only a couple of spaces left. So, yeah, but the Michigan retreat in June next year is full. So, that's really, really cool. I think it's some really exciting times for you guys in the States, from a point of view of meeting and getting to know each other and just having some bloody downtime. It's been a hard year. So please look after yourselves. Stay safe. Stay well. And yeah, just hang in there as we get into the busy time of the year with Christmas and meetings and Thanksgiving and all of that kind of thing. Just, I think that's next week for you guys. So yeah, it's going to be hard for some and logistical for others. So just stay safe and stay well. Alright, thanks for watching, thanks for joining me, and thank you very, very much for getting me over the 1,000 mark. And yes, I'll see you next week. Bye! May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.